guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be continuing off with the Ice Barrier Testhands, this time going second because of the fact that turn 1 actually turned out to be quite a long video. I didn't want to actually make turn 2 videos with turn 1 videos at the same time. So with that being said, today is definitely going to be very interesting because of the fact that turn 1 plays are definitely going to be a little bit more underwhelming than turn 2 plays, given that this deck actually works a lot better going second. So as a result of that, we'll definitely be seeing a lot more dynamic plays in this particular test hand. I actually do hope so, of course. But with that being said, let's just get started and see how we go. Alright, so we have 6 cards here. Definitely very nice that we actually have 2 of the crackdowns, because right off the bat this is just pretty much a disruption, which is fantastic. It would be good if this was actually the opening first turn hand, but you know what, it doesn't really matter. We still have all of these to work with as well, which is okay actually, because you know what, we have Zujin, which is definitely quite fantastic. Now, the irony of this particular hand itself is that this particular hand I see over here is more so a turn 1 hand. So what I mean by this is, let's just exclude the controller, right? If you had this out, you could simply just summon out the Zujin and tribute this off and summon out the medium. So right off the bat, you already just locked out your opponent from activating spells and traps, and they only have 1 to go with. And not only that, but you also have 2 crackdowns to negate your opponent's field. That's 3 disruptions in some sort of way, or 1 lockdown, 2 disruptions. Absolutely amazing. You also have the medallion just to play off whatever you want as well, so you are definitely in just a really good situation. I mean, in this case, of course, we are playing second, so you lose the Zujin, and of course you do have the medallion. In that case, just search out your revealer, and you could actually just prepare for your next turn, because revealer will summon itself out next turn, discard the controller, and then do your plays as normal. So definitely quite nice here. It's like I said, it's the irony that although this is a turn 2 test hand, we are actually better off with this particular hand itself going first. But let's just move on to the next hand. Alright, so here's the 6 cards we have to start off with. Not too bad, definitely quite interesting to see how we can actually go with this. I do like the fact that we have Freezing Chains, but over here I actually just want to go for the Gen X Undyne. This will allow us to then summon it out, ditch one of our Ice Barriers, and then summon it out using the Freezing Chains. So I'm actually going to send off Revealer to the graveyard, and then from that we can obviously add our controller from our deck to the hand, and from that we can now add our Freezing Chains and activate that, and this will pretty much allow you to summon out Revealer. Revealer will then allow you to discard whatever monster you want to the graveyard. So in this case, if you really wanted to, you could actually just discard the Speaker, and that would be quite fantastic. So let's see here, we have Speaker, which will discard. I even forgot about Surface right here, actually I didn't even see that. So instead of discarding the Speaker, you could just discard the Hexa, and that would be quite fantastic. So with that being said, Revealer will then summon out a Tuna monster. We're just going to bring out Defender in this particular scenario, because we can easily just summon back the Hexa whenever we want to. So right off the bat here, we have Defender and we have the Gen X Undyne, and this will allow us to synchro summon and go for our DeLorean. And yeah, that's, I mean, you could go for DeLorean, you could also just go for your Bryonic, and then depending on how many cards you want to discard, you could just bounce back as many cards as you want on your opponent's side. You have the free controller, you also have a free speaker as well if you really wanted to, and that would be quite amazing. And of course, don't forget the fact that we also have Surface, so we can activate Surface, special summon back the Hexa. Hexa's effect will allow us to then send one of our monsters to the graveyard. So in this case, we're going to look for our, where's the other Defender? It's over at the top of the deck, I think. Yep, there we go. And it becomes a level 3. And then from that, you can of course special summon out Speaker using its own effect. So you have here enough to actually go for your Trishula because you have 4, 4, and 3 level 11. So you could technically go for these, which would actually go out for the Trishula, which is definitely quite nice here. So yeah, very awesome. Definitely a really powerful play. Of course, like I said, DeLorean or Brionic, depending on which one you want to go for. You have plenty of targets here. And yeah, it's definitely quite amazing. Definitely a very strong start. What I like about DeLorean is the fact that you can just bounce back this card and then make this stronger. But at the same time, what it means is you pretty much just have this to reuse again on the next turn, which is absolutely amazing here. So yeah, quite good. And of course, you're clearing out 3 cards on the field, which is definitely very strong here. So yeah, you're just going for big attack. You're not going to OTK the opponents, but you know, it's crazy for the fact that this is just a budget variant. This is just built off the structure deck alone, which makes it already so strong. Imagine how strong this deck would actually be once you actually built a full version where you're actually using cards beyond that. Alright, so our next opening hand here, wow, this is actually pretty crazy. We have quite a few options available for us to actually play in this case. So a lot of different cards we can choose to go with, but I think in this case it's pretty obvious, I think, as to how we're going to play this out. So we're going to normal summon out our Revealer, of course, just a really crucial card, and you can discard whatever you want. I'm going to discard the Hexa, and from that I'm allowed to summon out a Tuna monster. So in this case, I'm thinking let's bring out our, let's see, where is it? We're going to bring out our Defender, and then from there what we're going to do is we're going to activate our Surface, and this will allow us to special summon back out our Hexa. Hexa's effect will then allow us to send us our second Defender to the graveyard, so we're going to look for it right now. Send that to the graveyard, making it a level 3, which is absolutely amazing, of course. And then from there, let's see, what else can we do? We could special summon out our Speaker. So what do we have to work with? We have 2 7s that we could potentially go for. So in this case, we'll look at our options. I mean, yes, we could technically go for Trishula again, but for a bit of variety's sake, I'm actually just going to change things up here, and we're going to try and go for something else. So in this case, I'm thinking, well, what else can we actually do? We have here Hexa, we have Speaker, so we could technically go for an 8 if we wanted to. A 7 and an 8. Yeah, we could do that if you actually use Speaker's effect to get the token. So in this case, but then it wouldn't really work. So I'm thinking, technically you could just go for the Gungnir's. So, no, actually you could go for both. So you would go for Gungnir as the first one, and then from there what you would do is you could just discard up to 2 cards and then destroy your opponent's card. So in this case you would have Guntala out, and you would just destroy one of your opponent's card, which is already amazing. But from there you could also just go for your Freezing Chains, and this will allow you to special summon back your own Speaker. So in this case you would have Speaker, Defender, and the Revealer, and together they would synchro summon and allow you to actually go for your Trishula, which is definitely very amazing, of course. And basically from there you just banish off 3 cards on their field as well. So technically that's 4 cards you just got rid of. Definitely very strong. Keep in mind that with Freezing Chains out, when you brought out Trishula, your opponent can't actually do anything with the Trishula because this card technically protects it in some sort of way. So it's definitely quite a strong card indeed. But again, you're clearing off 4 cards on the field, 1 with Gungnir and 3 with the Trishula, and you're just going for big attack again. Your opponent really just can't do anything in this particular state. Alright, so because the first 3 test hands was actually really quick, I'm going to put out a bonus test hand here just to see how we can actually go here. And again, we're just proving the consistency. Definitely really amazing seeing that we have all these ice barriers here. Of course, we can't use them all. We can't expect to use them all. So yeah, definitely we have to think carefully about what we actually want to play here. But of course, we do have our Revealer, which will normal summon out, and we could discard whichever card we actually want to in this case. So I was thinking maybe we'll actually get rid of Prior of the Ice Barrier, and this might allow us to then... Should I get rid of Prior? Yeah, why not? I'll get rid of Prior, and by getting rid of Prior, this will allow me to then special summon out our Hexa. Hexa will then send off Defender to the graveyard, so we're going to look for Defender here and get rid of that. And let's see, from here we have our Speaker as well, definitely very amazing. I'm thinking let's go for Medallion, and let's search out our Guntala. And you'll get why I'm actually doing that later on, but let's just see if I could actually make that work here. So we're going to bring out Guntala, and then from there we're going to take Hexa and Revealer and Synchro Summon them, allowing us to go for our Gungnir. We could use Gungnir's effect, allowing us to actually get rid of Guntala. If you wanted to, you could also get rid of Speaker or the extra Defender, since you already did your normal summon, so technically you could get rid of 2 cards on your opponent's field, and that's definitely very nice. But of course, in this case, you could also activate the Surface, and this will allow you to then special summon out our Prior, again in defense position, because it is technically a level 3 or lower fish, so Sea Serpent or Aqua monster, in this case Aqua. So you would use Prior's effect now and tribute this off, allowing you to then target 1 Ice Barrier monster in your graveyard and then special summon that target. So in this case, we're going to bring back the General Guntala. So from there, you could technically summon out the Speaker as well if you actually really wanted to, and this would definitely prove to be a pretty good lock onto your opponent with the Speaker. And of course, if you do this, during the end of your turn, Guntala will then special summon back out the Defender, which is definitely very amazing. And here's the one thing I want you guys to actually remember. While you control another Ice Barrier monster, which is any of these of course, monsters your opponent controls cannot declare an attack if their attack is greater than or equal to this card's defense. So right off the bat, you have quite a nice lockdown with this particular card here. And yeah, it's just all really amazing. And yeah, it's, you know, these two will definitely attack anyway, but you're setting up yourself for a really good board. This is an alternative play where we actually go for Guntala. Now, instead of Guntala, you could technically also go for you could put this away back because it was summoned out with Guntala, but you could take Guntala out instead and use your... Where is she? She's over here. We could use our Medium. So if we actually had Medium on the field instead, we're dealing less damage because it's not as strong and it won't summon back something from the grave at the end of the turn. But Medium has a lock in place, so again, you're just preventing your opponent from being able to do anything. So yeah, you have quite a few options available. This is definitely a really fun deck. It definitely just allows you to explore a lot of different things, and I want you guys to actually remember this is the budget variant. So you can see that some of our plays were definitely quite limited because we couldn't actually go into further link plays to extend our boards, and we don't have a lot of extended support for it, but this is still definitely something very strong considering that it's just a budget variant of it. But with that being said, I highly do encourage you guys, give me a bunch of suggestions as to what you would actually play in the full deck beyond just the budget variant, and see how things could actually go, you know, because there are so many different builds that you could actually try out, so definitely let me know which one you actually want to see. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely drop a like and also share this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you all next time.